I am sharing today 6 things I wish I had known before starting Zepbound. So these are things I would tell my mom, my sister, my best friend, anybody who was going to start Zepbound. I think if you have these tips, you're just going to start off on the right foot. So while I share, I'm just going to be washing, um, rinsing off these eggs. We have chickens, so I need to get all the junk off before putting them away for use. But okay, so tip number 1 is to strategize. And what I mean by that is whatever day you start your injection, that's going to become your injection day. So if for me it's Thursday, so today is Thursday, today's my injection day. Every Thursday I have to take my injection. Don't do it on a day that you have a lot going on, or maybe even the next day, if the next day is busy and you have to take your kids, I don't know, they play sports or youth group or something like that. Save it for a day where you have kind of like a down day, and you can, so if you're feeling sick, you just allow yourself a buffer so that if you're feeling those symptoms, the typical symptoms, you aren't having to put pressure on yourself by having to be busy that day. So just strategize the time and right, strategize the day and the time too. Some people don't do it in the morning because they're worried about how it's going to make them feel for the whole rest of the day. I take it in the evening, and it's been working out okay. So that's tip number 1.
So could you help me real quick?
Yes.
Like this is the last part.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. It is now the next morning, and I'm not washing eggs. I'm actually making icebox cake for my husband. It's his birthday. So I'll be doing that while we go over the tips. Okay, so tip number 2 is to eat smart the day of your shot. So what I mean by that is don't eat a heavy meal that maybe typically doesn't agree with you too well. Maybe something like, I don't know, chili or something very greasy maybe. The reason is because part of the way this medication works is by slowing down your digestion. And if you eat something really heavy, it's just going to be sitting in your stomach a lot longer. And if you're going to feel nauseous because of the side effects, and then you have that heavy feeling in your stomach, it's just not going to feel good. So you don't have to, go overboard and just have like broth or something, but just keep in mind, especially if you have like GI issues, that you might want to just eat something, a little bit on the lighter side so it minimizes those side effects. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is expect to feel like you're 6 weeks pregnant. And I really mean that. The nausea is something that everybody feels, or at least most people feel. And although it doesn't feel quite as bad as morning sickness, you're gonna feel nauseous. So again, have light foods, crackers, soup, because the first day or two you might not really feel like eating what everybody else is having for dinner. Ginger works great for that feeling of nausea. So you can make ginger tea. You can buy like the ginger cough drops or whatever on Amazon. I just buy like a piece of actual root ginger and at the supermarket, and I just cut that up, put it in some boiling water, let it steep for a few minutes, drain that out, and then drink the tea. I like it, but maybe it's a personal preference, but it does work really well for nausea. So you can keep that in mind as well. Okay, tip number 4 is expect constipation. It, again, because the medication slows down your digestion system, that food is just going to sit around and hang around longer than usual. And you probably will have some constipation as a result. So just already assume that that's what's going to happen, and have either Miralax, Metamucil, magnesium, stool softener, something whatever you might normally use, just make sure you have, because this is going to be something you deal with for the duration that you're on the medication. So you're going to just need to have it. Okay, tip number 5, buy protein powder. Just buy it. Either the protein powder or they have them already made, like the protein shakes. Either way, the medication, again, one of the ways it works is by decreasing your appetite. It suppresses your appetite. It also, because the food is taking up room in your stomach, you're not eating as much. So one of the things that your doctor might tell you is that you're going to need a lot of protein so that you don't lose muscle. And you need the muscle because the muscle helps burn fat. So it's important to keep the muscle. That's how you prevent stalls. One of the ways. But you're going to need that protein powder or protein drink, because you're probably going to have a hard time getting the amount of protein you need in food. Um, you're just not going to be able to eat as much, especially the first couple of days after the injection. Maybe towards the end, like on day 5, 6, maybe 7, your appetite might be coming back a little bit. But I find that I have a hard time getting the protein in. So just buy it and you'll be happy that you have it. Okay, tip number 6 is allow the injection to come to room temperature. And the reason for that is it helps a little bit with the sting. If it's straight out of the fridge, you might feel it a little more. It's not going to be a drastic change, but if you already have anxiety over having to do it, just, it's a little something you can do to help, put your mind at ease and just help make it a little bit easier. So yeah, and it's okay if it's not in the fridge. It could actually stay at room temperature for 21 days. So if you take it out, an hour before, you're fine. And then finally, my bonus. This is a bonus, actually. This is tip number 7, but it's a bonus. Take measurements. Take measurements and take pictures, because you're going to wish that you did. You need to do that at the very beginning so that as you progress, you can see how far you've come. I did that, and I'm so glad I did, because I already see big improvements, and it just helps to keep you motivated and help keep you excited about the progress that you're making. So I know, like, if you're like me, you've lost weight many times in the past and you've gained it, and it almost doesn't feel like you should take the measurements, because you feel like it's just not gonna, in the end, you're not gonna have like this drastic transformation, and you're just gonna, I don't know, fall off the wagon or whatever. But trust me, with this medication, it really does help, and it's just gonna boost you so much that you're gonna make progress. Like, even if you don't exercise, and even if you're not eating like great food, you're gonna lose weight just because of the fact that you just can't fit as much food in your stomach as you normally would have. So take the measurements. You'll be glad that you did, but you definitely will regret not taking them. So that's it. Those are my tips. I hope that you find that helpful. And then just one last thing in closing, just trust the process. You might have gone online and, seen a bunch of people talking about how they lost, 10 pounds the first week. And that's amazing and that's great. But that's not for everybody. And I guess a lot of that depends on how much water weight you were carrying to begin with. So how much like inflammation you had. So don't be discouraged, because the starting dose on this medication is 2.5. And a lot of people do not have any significant weight loss for that first month. I think once you start to go up and you get to that 5 milligrams or 7.5, I think that's what I've heard, that a lot of people's weight loss really picks up at that time. I'm still on 5. I just did my second injection yesterday, actually. So I can't really speak to that, but I will say that my food cravings is like completely gone, completely gone. And compared to when I was doing the 2.5, that felt like a miracle because I didn't have all that food noise and like constantly focusing on food or what I was going to eat or what I wanted to eat. But being on the 5 milligrams, I don't even think about food. Like I have to actually force myself to eat because I'm just not hungry. It's crazy, but I'm just not hungry. And again, that's why I say just buy the protein powder because you can't just starve yourself. I mean, that's not healthy. And the whole purpose of this is to develop good habits, right? So we want to take advantage of how the medication is working. And the protein powder really helps when I'm just not really feeling hungry. So, yeah, just trust the process, trust that your body will adapt and you're gonna see changes. And I'm excited for you because I didn't think that this medication was really gonna work. Um, I don't know why. I just kind of had it in my head that it was probably not really going to be that effective with me. And I'm shocked at the results. And I'm so excited if this is what you're starting to do too. I really hope my tips help. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.